strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, is that not the truth or what? It does not matter who the host is. Anyways, today is Monday, January the 10th. Meaning that you should not have your Christmas stuff up, but that's a whole other story. January the 10th of 2022. It's day number 10 of the year. I guess this is going to be really easy to figure out. And only 355 days remaining before it is all over with. Hopefully everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, depending on what you have going on. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then, of course, hanging out with our friends and colleagues, at that other station we do stuff at.
Radio Big.
So, of course, hanging out at RadioBig.FM, doing the stuff over there. So, hopefully you had a fantastic weekend. Everything was good and grand, depending on what you had going on. Of course, always the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, I will tell you, a lot of stuff happening over the weekend. We'll talk about some of that. And then we're going to talk about what is trending. We'll give you some new stuff. We'll do all that rigmarole stuff and get that moving and grooving your general direction for us to have a convo about what is happening inside of the world. So if you're taking a look around over the weekend, here is what was going on. Let's talk about some of the trending that was happening. On Saturday was National Bubble Bath Day, so I don't know if you were able to participate in that, but if you didn't get the opportunity of doing so, I apologize. Hashtag Dexter New Blood was trending over the weekend as fans of the dark drama series shared their disappointment over the finale episode. Many rappers are feeling the same way at the end of the original series. I don't know if you took a watch of it, but maybe we should have a conversation about that a little bit later. Ron Johnson was trending after the Wisconsin senator announced that he is running for re-election. Sunday was National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Del Tacaron landed on Twitter's top 10 on Sunday as the news outlets reported the latest COVID variant that popped up in Cyprus. So there you go. And then, of course, last but not least, another thing that was trending over the weekend was Bob Saget was trending following the news of his passing away. We'll talk about that a little bit more as he was here in Orlando over the weekend. Anyways, so that's what's going on right there. So what we normally do on Mondays is we talk about all the chart-topping news according to what was happening in the box office. So let me go ahead and give you that before we get to our friends at Feature Story News. At number 10 was House of Gucci at $632,000. At number 10, of course, like I said, Licorice Pizza was at made $1 million, down from number 8. At number 8 was Ghostbusters Afterlife with $1.1 million. At number 7 was West Side Story with $1.4 million. At number 6, The Matrix Resurrection with $1.8 million. American Underdog, $2.4 million. The Kingsman, $3.2 million. The 355, $4.8 million. Sing 2 was at $11.9 million. And trending at the number 1 spot, Spider-Man No Way Home, making a lovely $33 billion. Anyway, so that's what's going on now. Let's get our friends over here from Feature Story News. Let them tell you what's going on, and let's get moving and grooving, and we'll go from there.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. In Melbourne, Judge Anthony Kelly's quashed the detention of Novak Djokovic and ordered his release and the return of his passport. Arthur Stevens reports.
Today's hearing was memorable for many of the wrong reasons after major failures in the technology established to provide a video feed of the proceedings, including a moment when pornography was broadcast across one of the feeds. As for the hearing, Judge Kelly has overturned the Australian government's decision to cancel Novak Djokovic's temporary visa and ordered the government to pay costs. It's expected Djokovic will now be permitted to take part in the Australian Tennis Open underway next week. Arthur Stevens, Melbourne.
The US and Russia hold talks on Monday in Geneva amid rising tension over Ukraine. Russia's warned Washington against imposing further sanctions over the crisis. India started its booster dose program for nearly 58 million people. In the first leg, frontline workers, healthcare workers, and the most vulnerable over 60 years of age will be eligible. It comes as millions remain unvaccinated in India against COVID-19, as Ishan Garg reports from our bureau in New Delhi.
India's booster drive starts as hundreds of doctors across the country are testing positive for COVID-19. The third wave, fueled by the Omicron variant, is taking a toll on the frontline workers as well. Authorities have now opened up booster doses, but a majority of the country's adults are not yet eligible for it. Officials say the priority is to fully vaccinate India's 945 million adults first. Of them, only 2/3 have received both doses. Officials had hoped to hit the target by January, but experts say it may now take until May for the country to develop a substantial level of herd immunity. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
In the UK, meanwhile, pregnant women are being told not to delay getting a COVID jab or booster jab as part of a new government campaign. The UK's Housing Secretary set a deadline of March for developers to agree a £4 billion plan to fix dangerous cladding on low-rise flats. Michael Gove says if they don't, the government could introduce new laws forcing them to act. It follows the Grenfell Tower fire of 2017, in which dozens of people died. Daisy Cooper's the Liberal Democrat MP for St Albans. She wants the new restrictions to go further.
It's also incredibly worrying that the government is simply saying that this money can only be used for cladding, when we know that cladding is not the only problem. Many buildings here in St Albans, but around the country, have other building safety issues to do with fire breaks and insulation. It includes cladding, but it also includes all sorts of other fire safety defects like fire breaks, like balconies, like insulation. There are all sorts of other issues.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the Serbian perspective on Novak Djokovic, the world's #1 men's tennis player. He's challenging the Australian authorities after he sought to enter the country even though he has not been vaccinated against COVID-19. While so many around the world have been critical of Djokovic, in his native Serbia, he remains a national hero. Brent Sadler is a former correspondent with CNN and ITN, and he now lives in Belgrade, where protests in support of Djokovic took place late last week.
We've had some outside Parliament, yes, complaining about the Australians' attitude towards Djokovic, that he's been humiliated. His father likened Djokovic's scenario to that of Jesus Christ. So, you've got extreme views here. I play tennis. I've seen Djokovic often rub shoulders with him on the courts. Can you believe it? This sort of level of player. He's very accessible here in Belgrade. And you can talk to him about the health. You can talk to him about the inoculation program. You can talk to him about why he doesn't want to do it. He does not want to take it for his own body issues. He's been very strong about that, but he does not in any way wish to influence others in terms of following what his choices are. They're his personal choices.
There are, of course, many who argue that he should be using his fame to promote COVID-19 vaccines and at the very least push back at the notion that he's a champion of the anti-vax movement. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, an Australian judge has quashed the detention of Novak Djokovic and ordered his release. The US and Russia hold talks on Monday in Geneva amid rising tensions over Ukraine. India started its COVID-19 booster dose program for nearly 58 million people, and the UK set a deadline of March for developers to agree a £4 billion plan to fix cladding on low-rise flats. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You Schick stainless steel blades, long lasting. Schick stainless steel blades, long lasting. From the new thinking folks, it's Schick. Shaving smooth and comfortable's mighty quick. Double edger injectors, so take your pick. Use Schick stainless steel blades, long lasting. Schick stainless steel blades.
Schick is America's #1 long-lasting stainless steel blade. The only one with the stainless Krona edge. So sharp, smooth, long-lasting that just one double-edged blade shaved 15 barbers in a row. Be sure you get Schick stainless steel blades. And get new Schick shave cream, too. Made especially for stainless steel edges. Actually helps preserve them.
Double edger injector, so take your pick. Use Schick stainless steel blades, long lasting. Schick stainless steel blades.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. Yeah, very lovely indeed it is. because it is a Monday. So, I mean, why would it not be lovely? Everything gets to start moving and grooving and going back to the way that you wanted things, the way that it was. So, I don't know. Let's start getting into some of the news and all of that interesting stuff. As we are talking today and hanging out on this lovely Monday, I don't know. I keep on looking around and taking a look at some of the things that are going on. You know that you and I always have a conversation about the things that are going on, and we never are hesitant or shy or not really talk about things. But I have to tell you that over the last month, I've had two friends that their fathers have passed away due to COVID. I have one person that I know, not indirectly, but directly, that has acquired COVID. And it's just interesting on how these timelines occur. And then how are we supposed to interact with some of what we're hearing? It's like, depending on what channel you might be on, it's good, it's bad, or it's indifferent. Here's what you're supposed to do. Here's what you're not supposed to do. And it's kind of an interesting, we'll call it a pickle on how are you supposed to look at these things. It's kind of a pickle on what are you supposed to do. It's some channels tell you take the vaccine. Some channels tell you don't take the vaccine. What do you do? I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like in one of those weird spots in the world where I think we need to talk about it. And we know that there is a reality factor to the whole thing, but what is in the best interest of what to do? I mean, you just heard the news story of the tennis player that's refusing on taking this. And it's just a number of things that you have to consider. Is it good for you, bad for you, or indifferent? So many questions that still come up about it. So that's the thing. But I think you're really here for talking about the news. So let's do that. Let's talk about what is going on. So let's talk about this. We already gently touched on it, but let's talk some more. Bob Saget has died. TMZ first reported the comedian and actor died on Sunday at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. First responders were called to the hotel on Sunday afternoon, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. He was 65. Saget is best known for his role as Danny Tanner of Full House alongside with John Stamos and the Olsen twins. Later in his career, Saget returned to his roots of stand-up comedy, touring with raunchy material. A stark contrast of his time on America's Dad. No cause of death has been associated. And, of course, the Orange County area here in Orlando said that there was no show of foul play or drugs at the time of when they actually had entered into the room. Anyways, Jeopardy contestant Amy Schroeder became the fourth champion and first woman in the game that shows nearly a 6-decade run to exceed $1 million in winning. On Friday, the episode, she ranked in $42,200, bringing her total earnings to $1,019,000 and a penny. In a statement, she said that she feels amazing. It feels strange and not sum of money I have ever, not the sum of money, but I've anticipated to be associated with my name. On December 31st, Ryder became the first female contestant with the greatest number of consecutive wins. So there you go. So we can continue talking about stuff that is going on inside of the entertainment world if you'd like. So let's do that real quick. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire snuck into the theater to watch Spider-Man No Way Home. Garfield told Entertainment Tonight that Maguire entered the cinema on notice and that he just watched it with a baseball cap on and my mask. Garfield says that it was really beautiful thing to share with another former big screen Spider-Man. The pair, along with Tom Holland, share a very unique experience. Aubrey Hepburn life is getting to Hollywood treatment. Rooney Mara will portray the iconic actress in the upcoming biopic. Mara will also produce the film for Apple. Details are still unknown, but Hepburn's life is ripe for the storytelling. Born in Belgium, she received the proper education and traveled between Belgium, England, and the Netherlands, where she lived during World War II. It wasn't until Hepburn landed the role of Princess Anne in 1953 that the Roman holiday had her career took off with her portrayal of the princess and earning her an Oscar, a Golden Globe Award, and a BAFTA. She went to star in classics like Breakfast at Tiffany's, Sabrina, My Fair Lady, and Funny Face. So there you go. Dwayne Johnson may be leaving the Fast and the Furious franchise in in his rear view, but he is already spreading ahead of the destination of Sesame Street. The Rock has officially served as a block resident of Cookie Chomper, Cookie Monster with a baked cookie smackdown challenge. Johnson tweeted to Cookie Monster fuzzy pal Elmo, "Tell Cookie Monster to move it over because I'm coming to Sesame Street to kick his ass and eat his cookies, and I'm almost out of cookies." Cookie Monster wasted little time responding. Me say cookie challenge accepted. So there you go. Anyway, so that's what's going on inside of there. That's what's inside of the world of the news. It is 21 minutes past the top of the hours. So it's probably going to cost a little extra. Yeah, it will probably cost extra. BMW has developed a car that will definitely mess with your head. Their Flow electric concept car can change colors at the press of a button, going white to gray or black, and then back again in moments. The trick is actually done with paint, but in the same sort of technology used in electronic readers. The body panel surfaces have a million of tiny capsules, each one containing negatively charged white pigments and possibly change black pigments. Electric current brings the pigment to others to the surface, so creating the different shades or giving the driver the ability to express different facets of personality. Redefined each time that they sit in their car. According to the company, the SUV can be colored all one shade, different shades, in different parts. And even the wheels can change colors. BMW hasn't yet announced the plans to bring the technology or to produce the vehicle. So much ever finding your car in a parking lot, that's going to be one thing. I thought automatically of bank robberies. If they say, hey, the getaway car was white, then you change it into black or something else. How's that going to work? I know, my mind's not right sometimes. And okay, so they can make a BMW change its color, but they still haven't been able to make one with a turn signal. So that will all be interesting as we do move forward inside of that world.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so good stuff, always going around, and we're talking and moving and grooving and everything else. It is 23 minutes past the top of the hour, and I don't know why, but I think we're going to do it early today, and that's the great part of being able to do this, because that's what we're going to do now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's move about it. Let's talk about what is going on. By the way, I was amazed on a couple of different things from Friday. So we did Freeform Friday on Friday because that was Friday. So why would you not do Freeform Friday when it's a Friday, when we talk about that Freeform is Friday? So why would you do it any other day, which we have done it one time on a Thursday. So then it became Freeform Thursday, not Freeform Friday. Was that confusing? I hope so. So here's the thing. A lot of people have reached out to me, and some were not happy about me playing the whole presidential speech on Friday, which we did. And then I had some people reach out to me that felt fantastic about me playing the presidential speech on Friday. And then I had some people that really said that they did not care one way or the other of playing it and not to really care what other people said. So it was a combination of things going on. So we did it because it was freeform. We've done it with the previous slew of stuff. So I just want to make sure that we're clear here. And then if you take a look at the title today, I am sure that some people are going to be confused and go, is he still talking politics? And I wasn't talking politics. What I'm talking about is paying for the sins of the previous regime, and it's definitely not political. But what I wanted to talk about today is if you have ever encountered working at a organization where somebody had your position previously. Yeah, not a new position, not you starting something from the ground up. I'm talking about you're entering in as X. You can input X to whatever you want, but you know that we mostly talk about safety on this show when it comes to main stories and when it comes to some of the different segments. So you can already imagine that we are talking about safety. So I want you to think about how sometimes when you have changed positions, when you have moved from one organization to another, you have paid for the sin of the previous regime. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's worked the other way too, where people have paid for where you have been previously. But think about this for a moment. Think about how many times you might have went into an organization and all of a sudden everything that you want to do is told to you that it cannot be done. And the reason that it cannot be done is that the previous people that were there did this and it did not work. Or we have always done X. So to an extent, you are paying for the sins of the previous regime. Not that they did anything right, not that they did anything wrong, but it has left this bad taste in people's mouth that this is what's going on. They can't do this because they believe that the previous people did something wrong. And where do we go? And what do we talk about to be able to change this? Where do we go and how do we go about and change the mentality inside of the organization? And this is where we can talk about CE 399 or the magic bullet and say, oh, yes, this is what you need to do and this is going to solve it all. But that's where the bad news comes about. There isn't a fix-all, and there isn't something that's going to change for you to be able to do it like that. Here is what ends up taking place most of the times. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to take a look at this, this could actually be kind of one of those weird things. If you work inside of the organization, it will take you some time to be able to build it up. It will take you some time to be able to go in there and change things to the way that you would want them to because of the sins of the previous regime. And it is by trust and by building up what you have because they have to believe in you. Think about that for a moment. They have to believe in what you're saying. They have to believe in what you're doing. If they're not at that point, it becomes extremely difficult for things to be able to move. It becomes extremely difficult for things to be able to go forward. Think about that for just one brief moment. The challenge is the level of trust. How are they going to trust you? It is having that level of commitment of going forward and saying to people and doing for people the things that need to be done. It is partnering with people that you can know that essentially will be able to help you lead into that next level. Think about that for a moment. There are people that you know that if you are working inside of an organization can help you push things forward. The problem here becomes this. If you don't have trust inside of the organization, things won't move. Just think about it because of the sin of the previous regime. Now, if you are a consultant, well, now things become a little bit different. And I mean that in the best of ways. Because normally, if you're a consultant and an organization has a problem, guess what's taken place? They have contacted you in one way, shape, or form. Normally the way that it goes, unless you're a consultant who's on a retainer, which that's a conversation for a different day on what I think about that. But if they reach out to you because they have a problem, guess what? There might be sins from the previous regime, but it is a lot easier to move forward in. It is a lot easier to move into the things that you want. And why do I say this? Well, think about it for a moment. All of a sudden now it becomes, well, this person, this lady, this guy is here to assist us. And we already know that we have X problem, and they are recommending X, Y, or Z. And what happens next? They are willing to buy in because they are already paying you to do something, and you are an outsider coming in. Now, here's where it becomes an issue. And I can tell you this from years of experience. And to quote the great Todd Conklin, you cannot be a prophet in your own land. Think about it for a moment. Think about it, and we've talked about this before. You can make a comment. You can make a suggestion. And because you're paying for the sins of the previous regime, it could be the greatest thing on the planet, but they will not buy in, meaning leadership, meaning your organization will not buy in because you cannot be a prophet in your own land. Now, here's the fun part. You and I can sit down. You can bring me into your organization. We can sit down and we can script out everything that you have said previously, word for word on what should be done. And because I am not part of your land, they'll be willing to listen, even though it could be verbatim of what is said. Now, I will tell you, I use this term and a lot of people laugh at me for saying it, but I call it sometimes the rub. I can go into an organization where I have been contracted with and say, hey, listen, Billy Bob over there has great ideas, and I think that he could lead you to X. And now all of a sudden, even though Billy Bob has been in your organization for 5 to 10 years, they'll look at him differently because of that, which I always find kind of odd. Why is it that it always is almost like a knighthood? That somebody else has to come in and tell you how great your people are. I don't get it. But also to the other side, that regime that you are paying for the sins for becomes one of those odd spots. And I will tell you, I've been in an organization where it seems like it took years. Yeah, this is not a joke. Years to be forgiven. Yes, me to be forgiven for what somebody else did. Now, don't get me wrong. I have had my level of screw-ups. I have had my levels of shit shows that I've done working for organizations. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, I will tell you, as I was able to learn this craft, as I was able to learn more and more about organizational change, there were some times that I look back now inside of organizations and stuff that I did that I was like, what the hell was I thinking back then? But that's the thing. We learn to grow. Now, I have had organizations, and this is not a joke, where once I have left, they have reached out to me for assistance. Post. We need to have a better understanding of this now that you're gone, blah, blah, blah. And was it because the new people were paying for the sins of my portion of the regime? Probably. But think about that. How often that is the case. And we be open-minded enough to understand that this is something that's going to take place? Because nowadays, the level of patience that people have when it comes to things like this is very difficult. I was having a conversation over the weekend, and the person that I was talking to was asking about the people that I was with. They were asking, what is your 2-year plan? What do you plan to do after 2 years? And one of the people at the table turned around and said the following words. Do you really want to be working somewhere where you're going to be there longer than 2 years? Now think about that for a moment. Do you really want to be somewhere where you want to work longer than 2 years? Now keep in mind, these were people that were slightly younger than me. But I took a look at it and I said, think about this. Think about how all this works. Years ago, it was longevity of staying at the same job. Now we are talking about, would you be willing to stay at a job for longer than 2 years? That's an interesting conundrum. That definitely puts a change and a spin on some things. Think about that for a moment. All of a sudden we go from, let's see how long we can stay at an organization and potentially, back in the day when they had pensions, and even retire from there, to, do I really want to be somewhere for 2 years or less? Think about that. How these sins of the previous regimes are having impacts on organizations. But then again, what do I know? Just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes there's plans for everything out there? You have plans of going back to the gym. You have plans on eating right. You have plans on doing a diet. You know, all those things. What if I told you that you can make a plan to stop male pattern baldness? And let me tell you how you can start this journey off right now with my friends at Keeps. All you have to do is go to the website keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to receive your first month free of treatment. Keep in mind, 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time that they are 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers them both. So all you need to do is go to KEEPS.com/safety to find out more and to get your plan rolling. Now keep this in mind. For a limited time, get your first month free. Claim your offer at KEEPS. That's keeps.com/safety. KEEPS.com/safety. Hey, come in real close. I got something to share with you. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Hi, little girl. Who are you?
I'm an Amazon woman.
I thought Amazon women were big and strong.
They are.
You don't look big and strong.
I know. It's embarrassing.
Drink some V8.
That looks good, like tomato juice.
But it's V8 cocktail vegetable juice from Campbell. V8 gives you the natural goodness of 8 healthful garden vegetables. No single juice can match it.
I still say it looks like tomato juice.
Try V8 and see.
Wow, it sure doesn't taste like tomato juice.
Of course not. It tastes like V8. Now, put me down.
Get
Well, if you're half asleep, you're definitely awake now. Okay, there you go. In Darkness. Sightless in Shadow. The song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Currently 41 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging. Thank you to Sightless in Shadow for allowing us to play this one. So there you go. There you go. I'm going to tell you, I am aware. Not everybody's going to agree with paying for the sin or the previous regime. And guess what? That's fantastic. I love it. You want to know why? Because that means we're having a conversation and things that we don't always have to agree. That's the fun part. The thing here is, if we agreed on everything, there would probably be a problem between you and I. Because here's the thing. I want to talk and have conversations that go somewhere. I don't want it to become stagnant and us just hang out and go, oh, yes, with that person, I agree with. What that person said, I agree with. No, let's have conversations that change the way that we think. Let's have conversations that make people question some things, too, opposed to it just being status quo. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those weird things that from time to time, we always take a look at things and go, oh, it's not, we can't talk about this because we're going to piss somebody off. Well, if I got so concerned all the time about me pissing people off, I might be in some trouble because I think I do that quite frequently. And sometimes it's not even intentionally, which is even more upsetting because if I was doing it intentionally, at least I would get it. But, you know, that's not what happens. What happens sometimes is that it just happens because of the sake of happening opposed to anything else. But I guess that's sometimes the way that things work out. Anyways, 42 minutes past the top of the hour. I think that as we are talking, it might be time. It might be time to bring in some Johnny Smalls and let him tell you what had occurred with the market on Friday.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, January 10th, 2022. The equities market began to pull back last week and might be headed lower. The reason is rising interest rates and a hawkish Fed that keeps upping the timeline for interest rate hikes. The FOMC minutes revealed the first hike could come by March, and there are indications the pace of hikes could be aggressive. This week, investors will be on the lookout for the CPI, PPI, and Beige Book data. They're all expected to reinforce the need for aggressive rate hiking. The most important data this week may come out Friday, however, in the form of the retail sales figure. The numbers are expected to be positive. The question is, how strong will they be in relation to inflation? With inflation running at high single-digit rates, the retail sales figure will need to come in near 10% for there to be any real growth of activity. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what exactly is going on with the market, because that stuff's always important to know. And we came to the conclusion, that Johnny can say it a lot better than I can, so let's move forward and have him do it from this point on. Anyways, making run for your order, let's talk about it. Financial experts say that one thing that you should keep to a minimum when trying to cut expenses is monthly subscriptions. Yeah, listen to this. But you'll make them... But you'll want to make an exception for this one. Taco Bell is rolling out what possibly is the tastiest subscription service anyone has ever come up with. And I know we talked about this, but daily tacos, come on, for $10 a month, Taco Bell customers in the U.S. can get a taco per day for 30 consecutive days. The Taco Bell Lovers Pass initially launched in Arizona and is managed through Taco Bell app. After signing up, you can run for a freebie one per day from the menu taco options, including classic crunchy tacos, a spicy potato soft taco, a Doritos Locos tacos. I'm no genius, but if you were to use your Taco Pass each day for a month, each one would cost you about 30 cents. Now, let's think about this. Now, that's the stuff that I keep hearing about sky-high food prices. So, I guess that's a different way to think about it, because 30 cents doesn't sound that bad. I have to admit that when I was in college, a taco every day would have been awesome. Now it's just, though, it's probably a pretty horrifying thing to think about if you really want to give it some consideration. And one taco a day, but you're supposed to still find a way to screw that up in the drive-thru. Taco Bell every day. Wow. Now you're gonna be running out of both ends. I don't even know what I'm saying there.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. Let's talk about some good news, because I think we need some of that. An 8-month-old dog was saved an injured hiker that was stranded in the Croatian mountains by laying on top of him for 13 hours to keep him warm until help arrived. The Alaskan Malamute named North was hiking, and I'm not even going to say this name because I'll butcher it. When he fell down and was unable to get up, the two other hikers with them could not reach them, so they called for help. It took about 25 first responders over 12 hours to get the pair stranded nearly 1,800 meters above sea level. North was uninjured, but they were able to call the local media. This little dog is a real miracle, and I tell you, the pup, he's a good when he doesn't steal my dinner, so I guess that's a good thing. An 11-year-old Dwayne Johnson saved 2 lives one day. The 6th grader from Oklahoma noticed a schoolmate was choking, ran over and assisted. David wants to be an EMT and was able to watch videos on the Heimlich maneuver. Using those skills, he was able to dislodge the bottle cap that was in the schoolmate's throat. Later, Delvin was driving with his mother when he saw smoke coming out from the house. They called 911. Devin ran out to alert the people about the fire. An elderly woman using a walker was struggling to get out, and he guided her to safety. Davern told the reporters it was the right thing to do. So there you go. Maybe, we have hope after all. When you hear about stuff with kids like that, that is something for sure to think about.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's talk some more as we are hanging out 47 minutes past the top of the hour. Let me tell you, before I forget, about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences and people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. Or you can always go to their website, afsp.org. Let's get John Smalls inside of here one more time and let him tell you about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Susan. Michael Jordan said, "The minute you get away from fundamentals, proper technique, work ethic, or mental prep, the bottom can fall out of your game." Now, I'll admit, I'm not a sports guy, but I know Michael Jordan is known as one of the best basketball players of all time. I'll tell you, this tip that he gave translates to other areas of your life, too. If you're trying to make a change in your life, stick to it for a few weeks, and it'll become a habit. But sadly, it goes the other way, too. If you quit doing something, even something little that helped you succeed, it won't take long for that to take a toll on your success. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alasamorgan.com. In our journey of understanding ourselves and our eating habits, sometimes it's helpful to know the difference between emotional eating and being addicted to food. In short, emotional eating is something that happens only with emotional triggers, which can include stress, anxiety, boredom, transition between tasks, fatigue, and other feelings. Alternatively, food addiction is something that occurs consistently and regardless of our emotional state. It exists without any triggers, and no matter how much we eat, it never seems to be enough. What unites both emotional eating and food addiction is that for both of them, the food is not the actual issue. They are both coping mechanisms, and they exist for us to achieve some versionality of safety, comfort, or emotional release. For more on food addiction and emotional eating, check out resources on alasamorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 50 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get you moving and grooving with some more stuff, of course. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday's night's drawing will be for $300 million jackpot or a $206.7 million cash payout. So there you go. If you're wanting to play the game, I guess you have the opportunity to do so. So let's talk real quick. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $27 million jackpot or an $18.7 million cash payout. So there you go. Anyway, so let's talk about this in showbiz news real quick. The 79th Annual Golden Globes Awards was to take place on Saturday night, but no one was able to watch because NBC canceled broadcast over diversity issues with the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Also, none of the nominees were in attendance. So I guess that is a good reason to cancel something if you can't see it and none of the nominees are there. So what are you really showing? So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. A lot of interesting stuff as always talking about it. So should we talk about really, let's see, what won anything? Does this matter? I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Best Director, Jane Champion, The Power of the Dog. Supporting Actress, Ariana DeBose, West Side Story. Supporting Actor was for The Power of the Dog as well. Let's see. Animated movie was Encanto. I don't see Best Film, but who knows? Okay, so there you go. That's what's going on. Blah, 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 blah. So there you go. There you go. So just some information as we are hanging out real quick. Did you hear about this? Spider-Man No Way Home is now the sixth highest grossing movie of domestic box office with cumulative earnings of $668.7 million. The movie was jumped ahead of James Cameron's Titanic, and it's just $10 million from overtaking Avengers Infinity War. Grossly. Globally, the flick has grossed $1.53 billion. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on with that one if you're so encouraged to take a look around. Anyways, let's take a look at what is going on or what has happened back on this date. Let's see. I can give you three. 1999, The Sopranos debuts on HBO. The series starred James Gandolfini as the mobster Tony Soprano. That was back in 1999. Wow, I can still remember watching that show. Let's see. 2018, Jeff Bezos becomes the second man worth over $100 billion as Amazon shares rise in price. And in 2021, more than 3,000 daily deaths attributed to COVID-19 are recorded for the first time in the U.S. The number brings cumulative deaths from the virus to over 375,000. So that was back in 2021. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays today. Jared Kushner turns 41. Sarah Shahi turns 42. Brent Smith, 44. Tamina Snuka, 44. Lila Menendez turns 54. James Washington, 56. Butch Hartman, he's a screenwriter, 57. Pat Benatar, 69. George Foreman, 73. Donald Fagen, 74. Rod Stewart, 76. And William Sanderson, he turned 78 today. So there you go. That's some stuff for birthdays if you're inclined to finding those out. And then also, if you're looking for things to celebrate, today's National Bittersweet Chocolate Day. I have a friend that she's all into the bittersweet stuff. National Cut Your Energy Cost Day. National Oyster Rockefeller Day. National Save the Eagles Day. National Clean Off Your Desk Day. I'm glad they have a day to celebrate that. Houseplant Appreciation Day. Peculiar People Day. I think that should be something that's celebrated every day, don't you think?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So let's continue. Let's talk about some whack facts here. The average person scrolls on their device about 5 miles per year. The world seems quieter right after snowfall because the blanket of fresh powder absorbs the sound, making things seem calmer. Women have a slightly higher average IQ than men. Onions have no flavor, only a smell. Goldfish remember better in cold water than warm water. technically freshwater fish is not seafood. So just some stuff to think about as you are thinking about this today. Let's see. Some scoops of BS real quick. 55 minutes past the top of the hour real quick. Before I go over to RadioBig.fm exclusively for the next 2 hours, a survey found that the average woman spends $30,000 on her face in a lifetime. No word on how many lifetimes Meg Ryans have lived at this point. Scientists say that they believe that dogs absolutely understand words we say, unless these words are don't, hump, the, neighbors, and poodle. So there you go. I just have a survey that shows that almost 6 in 10 people still use paper lists for their holiday shopping instead of electronic notes, which is probably better so autocorrect won't leave parents searching for a sorry planet station. Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, turned 40 yesterday. She's enjoyed some pampering in a little R&R before leaving to return for her usual daily grind of pampering and R&R. Rod Stewart turned 77 today, so now he asks, have I told you lately that I love you? It's because he honestly can't remember. Just think about that.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, let's talk about this. What is the most commonly used letter in the English language? Here you go. I'll give you 4 choices. A, E, O, or D, resignation. Is it A? Is it O? Or is it E? Is it O? Or is it resignation? The correct answer is E, just in case. Who is the biggest selling fiction author of all time? Agatha Christie, Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, or Richard Scarry? It is Agatha Christie. From which country does Lego originate? Sweden, USA, Denmark, Democratic Republic of the Lego. Something tells me it's not going to be the last one. It is definitely Denmark, just in case you did not know. There's some useless trivia for you real quick. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, try this. I won't be impressed with technology until I can download food. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What single item that you can currently possess would you most likely have in your home? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question. Women find men who have this to be 2.5 times more attractive than men who don't. What is it? Manicured nails. There you go. Some stuff to think about. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on Safety FM and RadioBig.fm. Can't do what we do without you, the most important part of our stations, and that is you, the listener. Anyways, if you want to hang out with us for the rest of the day, you can do so at RadioBig.fm or SafetyFM.com. You can download our apps, take a listen to what's going on. They're absolutely free on any app store that you're looking at. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Try and fail, but don't fail to try. Try and fail, but don't fail to try. That's where a lot of us screw up sometimes. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. No, seriously. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.